Good morning, guys. Sorry.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Okay, only one samadhi apita count karanna bෑනේ samadhi. Only Dulaj. Okay, now that's okay. Samadhi, you have the LMS access now. Dulaj, what LMS access එක තියෙනවද? ඔයාගේ LMS access
Yes, sir, I have.
ඔයාගේ තියෙනව නේද access එක? ඔයා log වෙලා දෙන්නේ? Because I just need to guide you on the what do you call practice test.
Yes, I logged.
You log. Give me 1 minute. I will take you. Samadhi ඔයගොල්ලොත් බලා ගන්න if someone ask Samarata Dulaj, your screen may not be exactly similar to my screen because you're having a student login, but you have these things in your screen. You can see this stuff, right?
Yeah, yes, I can.
You can. Now, anyway, you have all the access for these materials. That won't be an issue, right? So how the practice exam and the real exam comes. Now, this is one of the practice exam, what I just uploaded with 20 questions, right? So here, this one, how do you go with it? I just need to brief you. You also can start the same way, Dulaj, then it is easy. Then later when you do, you can make it properly, right? So you have to go there and click it. Then you get this screen. Okay, then you get this screen. There are multiple steps, so that is why I want to guide you. So when you click this screen, when you click there, when you enter, you get this screen, and automatically your camera also will be switched on. You can't do the exam without camera. Camera එක නැතුව exam එක කරන්න බෑ. Practice test එකත් අපි කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ camera එක නැතුව මේ දුලත්. මොකද එතකොට අර ඒක හුරු වෙන්න ඕන හින්දා. Right? මොකද මේ දැන් ඔයාගේ මම දන්නේ I don't know how your profile, whether you have created the profile with the proper photo. Photo එකක් දාලා හදලා තියෙන profile එක.
Not yet, sir.
Not yet.
I will do.
ඒක දාන්න. මොකද නැත්තම් එතන මේ concern එකක් එනවා. මොකද profile photo එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක proctoring වලදී match කරනවා profile photo එකයි ඔයාගේ real appearance එකත් match කරනවා ඒ වෙලාවේ. ඒකයි. So and then you get the attempt question, right? දැන් අර මෙතන allow your webcam කියන එක දැන් මගේ webcam එක මේ allow කරන්න ඕනේ. මගේ webcam එක දැන් already open නේ මේ එකට Teams වලට. ඒ හින්දා තමයි මෙතන මේක තියෙන්නේ. මේක allow කරනවා webcam එක, right? මම Teams වල මේක share වෙන හින්දා තමයි උතන concern එකක් තියෙන්නේ. Teams වල share කරලා නෙමෙයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ exam එක කරන්නේ. ඒතර ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මෙතන screen එක එනවා, right? ඒ screen එක ආවට පස්සේ give me 1 minute. Let me switch off this. මෙතනින් click කරාම, right? මට මෙතනින් යන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ camera එක on හින්දා. Give me 1 minute. Shared screen එකනේ. Give me 1 minute, will you? දුලා ජොයා ගියාම ඔයාට මේ ඒක ඇපිය වෙනවද කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න පුළුවන්ද?
Okay, sir, I will check.
මොකද මට මේ ස්ක්‍රීන් එක ෂෙයා කරාට පස්සේ කැමරා එක ගන්න දෙන්නේ නෑ යා.
Yeah, sir, they are asking for camera access.
Right. You give the camera access and civil ඊළඟ step එකට. මට මේක shared screen එකේ දෙන්නේ නෑ ඒගොල්ලෝ. share කරන ගමන් කරා. You can go in, right? Steps කීපයක් තියෙනවා ඒකේ. Okay, you have logged. හරි ඔයා ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්නේ.
I got the corrections.
You got the questions නේ. ඔයා ඇතුළට ගිහිල්ලා ඉන්නේ but your camera capturing. ඔයාගේ කැමරා එක on එකේ පේනවනේ නේද ඔයාට?
Oh, yes.
All right, okay. Have you done any such exams before Dulaj online? මේ වගේ online එකක් මොනාරි කලින් කරලා තියෙනවද?
Yeah, sir, in the university, I think I have done before few times for the assignment. Yeah.
Then of course you have an idea.
Yeah.
It's okay whether it is right or wrong, Dulaj. You just attempt the questions. Huh? We just need to see. I just need to see whether your system is okay. Because your image is not captured. All right, okay. ඔයා screen එක මොකකින් හරි cover කරලා නේද තියෙන්නේ? Have you covered the screen?
So I'm right now using my tab, so it's my camera is not working there, so it's feel like dark black, I think.
Okay, tab is a concern anyway. No, anyway, it's capturing. I just wanted to see because when you do the real exam, you can do it in using a laptop or something. Ne?
Yeah. We have power cut, so I cannot use laptop right now. That's
right. No worries. Okay, this is okay. Now you have an idea in how to enter and all these things. You just do this, will you? Taking about 10 to 15 minutes, you just complete it, will you?
Done, sir.
Done, right? Cool.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to show you, Dulaj, now here, the way your screen comes like this. Wait, I'll show you. මෙන්න මේ විදියට එන්නේ. ඔයාට exam එක අවුල් යනවා මේ විදියට આવොත් හොඳ. දැන මේ වාගේ capturing ඔක්කොම එන්නේ මේ විදියට. You can see the screen නේද?
Yeah. So I think when I use laptop, it will not matter.
Oh, laptop එක use කරනකොට it won't be an issue. So you make sure that you are using a proper device at the exam. What then now you get an idea about the structure of the exam ne? එතකොට mainly you won't get any questions outside the syllabus anyway. I mean everything will be based on the syllabus, right? Not a single question outside the syllabus. So, but make sure you are on the proper. I mean you have all the DEET materials with you, right? So you have to make sure that you read all the materials and get it done. So right. So Senal මේ මොකද වෙන්නේ කෝ අනිත් කට්ටිය? Senal අනිත් කට්ටිය join වෙනවද නැත්නම් what do you think?
ඒගොල්ලෝ පරක්කා join
ඇහුනේ.
පරක්කු වෙනවා කියලා join වෙන්න.
Right, but since the recordings are there, without wasting time, අපි මේ කරමු නැත්නම් මේ අපරාධයන්නේ නේ. Recordings යනවනේ so that we can share recordings නේ. නේද?
We can do like
We can do like that නේ. මොකද මේ නැත්නම් I will not have time even to do the what do you call this thing syllabus එක ඉවර කරන්නත් බැරි වෙනවනේ. So let's take the time and at least do it. I mean, we'll share them the recordings. We'll do like that. දුලාජ අපි ඉස්සරහට මේ sessions කීපයක recordings upload කරනවා. Recordings කියලා කියන්නේ මේ ඒ කියන්නේ class recordings නෙමෙයි. අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ sessions වල තියෙන එක topics වලට අදාළ recordings. ඒවා LMS එකට වෙනමම දානවා self readings වලට. ඒවා refer කරන්න මොකද time එක අපේ target එක තියෙන්නේ end June වෙනකොට syllabus එක ඉවර කරන්න. එතකොට in June වෙනකොට syllabus එක ඉවර කරන අපි පොඩ්ඩක් මේ additionally change කරනවා recordings වගේක් upload කරලා සමහර topics වලට. එතකොට ඒව cover වෙන්නේ so those areas will be covered based on the self reading, right? එතකොට ඒවයි මොනවා හරි තියෙනවා නම් especially you all can get back to us but make sure you all refer them as well. Okay? Give me 1 minute, I will. I just need to start the marketing mix area. Okay, right, guys. Actually, when it comes for brand management, right? When it comes for brand management, actually, there's something called marketing mix where you all need to focus in brand management, right? Now, marketing mix in layman's point of view, in layman's point of view, marketing mix we can identify it as the business recipe, right? I mean, I might not say the layman point of view, but a marketing mix is something like the recipe of the business. Why we call it as the recipe of the business? Because, I mean, you know the meaning of a recipe, no? Now, when it comes for a recipe, I mean, we are using a recipe to make something, a food, okay? So a delicious food. So, I mean, I mean, in business, why we call it as the recipe? Because your taste of the business comes along with the profit what you gain. So marketing mix, you need to manage to get the profit of your brand. So that is the reason we are focusing on marketing mix in the brand management. If you fail to manage your marketing mix components, you will fail to build your brand in one angle. Because now, I mean, why we call it as a mix? It has few components where we combine together, we integrate together to achieve our main objectives. So that is the reason we call it as a mix. So let's see what are the elements first. Now under this chapter, we are looking at the main areas of marketing mix. So there we will be discussing what is marketing mix. Then we will be looking at two different perspectives: product, service, and the brand. How the marketing mix connected with the product, service, and the brand. Then we will be looking at the new product development, especially when it comes for brand management. You might do brand modifications. You might come up with the new brands. So you need to have those things. So new product development approach we'll be looking at. Then we'll be looking at the pricing strategies, distribution strategies, integrated marketing communication strategies. So, I mean, marketing mix is a combination of few different elements. That is the main thing we need to identify under marketing mix, because those elements are crucial for us to build the brand in the marketplace. So what are those elements in which is coming under marketing mix? Now we need to look at. Then අපි marketing mix එක කියන එක මම recipe එක කියලා කිව්වහම, now when we call it as a recipe, so we are combining these tools in a way where you get a unique output to meet the customer's expectation. Where you get the unique output to meet the customer's expectation. Now, these tools, now initially these tools identified as 4 main elements. So the 4 main tools, but finally it is extended up to 7 more. I mean, 7 elements in total, adding 3 more tools to the entire marketing mix. But why is the concern? So the reason why we added 3 more elements, because we know we have product related business as well as the service related business. Now, if you are to focus on a service related business, you need to have some kind of an certain things where you can't manage only having initial 4 ingredients in the marketing mix. So what are those initial 4 ingredients if we really look at? Now, when you look at the marketing mix at the initial stage, okay, now product is one major component. Place or the location is another major component. Price is another major component, and the promotion is another major component. So there were 4 major components in marketing mix, right, at the initial stage. 4 major components in marketing mix at the initial stage. Now, I mean, having only these 4 major components, we were not in a position to manage the service related business. We were not in a position to manage the service related business. So because of that only, we decided to bring 3 more elements, so-called physical environment management, physical evidence management, process management, and the people management as three more environmental aspects, three more areas added to the marketing mix. I will tell you all, okay, how and why it is added, because first thing you got to know, you need to have an idea about these elements in marketing mix and why we call it as a marketing mix. You have to mix it properly. You have to stir it properly. You have to මේක හරි විදියට blend කරලා mix කරලා ගත්තේ නැත්නම් මේක මේ marketing mix එක effective වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ marketing mix එක effective වෙන්නේ නැහැ if you don't bring it properly. So what we do here, දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් විදියට ගත්තොත්, if you take an example, okay, now if you are talking about a BMW vehicle, right? So product is the tangible component of it, and you connected that with the brand and intangible, whatever the values and all these things. Now, when you look at the price of the product, the BMW, that is not the price of a normal car, because it is coming under bit of a premium end in the local context. So the BMW price is bit of a higher side, bit in the sense to the higher side compared to the other brands available in the market. Other brand in the sense, not like the Jaguars, not like the Mercedes-Benz and them, but generally the Toyotas, Aquas and all these things, Toyota, maybe Nissan, maybe whatever. So compared to those brands, the prices are premium. And when you look at even the location, the place means the location. Place means where the product available for customer to come and access. Where the product available for customer to come and access. So when you look at these places, now you can see Maruti everywhere. You might see Toyota everywhere. You might see Nissan everywhere. Even in a small time, a dealer, car showrooms, and all, everywhere you might see. But you don't see Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars everywhere. Only few locations. Now see, product is a premium. Now this component is premium. Price is premium. Location also, available places also premium. It is not available everywhere. It is not available everywhere. So, I mean, all these three components premium. And when you even look at an advertising campaigns, they don't advertise in Rupawahini. They don't advertise in newspapers like Silumina Lankadipadivaina and them. No. They are advertising these products where in premier business magazines, right? Or else maybe the TV shows, or else maybe they might do billboards, hoardings, and the digital advertising, outdoor advertising, showroom merchandising, the luxury showroom merchandising. So those things are the major areas they are looking at when you focus on the product. So when you look at the brand like BMW, everything is premium. Product is premium, location availability is premium, price is premium, and also promotion is premium. Now see, the combination is there, no? Mix is there. Then api hitamu, let's say as an example, right? Product is premium. But if someone said the BMW is sold at Toyota Aqua price, what will happen? You might get confused because that is not a product which comes at that price. That is not a product which comes at the Toyota Corolla price. That is not a product which comes at the Axio price. That is not a product which comes uh, as Hyundai, whatever you name the model, the price. So those are not premier products, right? So you always look at, when it comes for marketing mix strategies, if one component you're managing in the premier end, the other components also you manage in the same way. Otherwise, what will happen? The people might get confused. People might get confused. Now, in the same way, if Maruti is sold at BMW price, you might feel it is a joke. It's a joke. I mean, it's obvious, right? Because I mean, Maruti cannot sell at that price. Maruti is a product which is designed for economy. Now, when you look at the Maruti, product is economic. It is available everywhere. It is available everywhere. And the price is also economic. Less price. Maybe the second lowest, right? I mean, promotion. You advertise everywhere. No? You advertise everywhere. You advertise newspapers, you advertise showrooms, you advertise magazines. You might have even road shows. But BMWs, you don't advertise in that pattern, right? So you got to identify that. You got to identify that. So when you're mixing them, you are mixing in the same sequence. You are mixing in the same sequence. So when මෙතන තමයි marketing mix එකේ we need to identify. This is what we need to identify because when you are managing marketing mix, you are managing in the same way. හරිද? එතකොට marketing mix එක manage කරනවායි කියලා කියන එකේ reason එක තියෙන්නේ ඔය ඒ කියන්නේ අපි manage කරන්න ඕනේ එකම weightage එකකින්. නැත්තම් otherwise people might get confused. Now when you look at these initial four components, the product, price, place and the promotions, any business immaterial to the nature, it can be a service oriented business, it can be a product oriented business, any business, you need them. Even an NGO, NPO, you need them. හරිද? NGO එකකට උනත් non-profit organization එකකට උනත් you need them. හරිද? product එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ, price එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ විකුණන්න price එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Location එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ විකුණන්න. It can be virtual location, it can be a physical location, whatever you need to have a location to sell. Right? Then you need to have communication. Promotion means communication. So you need to have communications to sell. So like that, you need all these things for you to sell the product. So you got to have this immaterial to the nature of the business. But when it comes for service-oriented business, අපි ගමු උදාහරණයක් විදියට education service එක, hospitality service එක, healthcare service එක. ඒ වගේ service oriented businesses අපි අරගත්තොත් service oriented business වලට අපිට ගොඩාක් අවශ්‍ය දේවල් තමයි මෙන්න මේ තුන. අර මේ හතරට අමතරව අපිට අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා physical environment කියන එක, physical evidence කියන එක. Because services are intangible. No? We cannot see a service until you experience the service, whether it is good or bad. You can't see it. No? You can't see it. So services are intangible. No? So එතකොට intangible දැන් අපි හිතමු බාබා කෙනෙක් ගාවට යනවා, ඩොක්ටර් කෙනෙක් ගාවට යනවා. ඩොක්ටර්, if that particular location is a mess, that particular location is a mess, so you might think twice whether to get the service or not, because if you don't have an prior experience with the service provider, you might judge whether to consume the service or not by looking at the physical surrounding, physical evidence. So then we identified as physically available evidence, or so-called physical evidence. And the other one is a process. Process means what? Process means mainly the step-by-step approach what you have managed to bring the service delivery. Step-by-step approach. Then service එකක් ගන්න ගියාම අපිට නැහැ what you call අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ අපි මොකද්ද කරන්නේ කින්ද මන්ද කියන එක. අපිට පේන්නේ නැහැ. Visible නෑ. දැන් අපි product එකක් ගන්නවා නම් we know, okay, I mean we have this product and this is how it happens and all these things we know. But service එකක් එහෙම නෑ. Service එකක්, since it is invisible, since it is intangible, since it is inseparable, right? We need to have step-by-step approach, to drive the service consumer properly until the service is consumed for up to their satisfaction level. So that we need to look at. So the step-by-step approach is the process. And the other one, when it comes for service delivery, guys, when it comes for service delivery, you need what you call the people, those who are connected with the customers. Because in service deliveries, remember, I mean, your involvement in service delivery is crucial. Your involvement is in service delivery is crucial. Because if you are not involving in service delivery, because services we identified as inseparable. Inseparable කියලා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Service provider and the service consumer, service manufacturer and the service consumer both either should be in the same location physically or virtually to consume and deliver the service. ඔය දෙක separate කරලා අපිට service එකක් deliver කරන්න බෑ. ඔය දෙක separate කරලා අපිට service එකක් deliver කරන්න බෑ. ඒතර service එකක් deliver කරන්න බෑයි කියලා කියන reason එක තමයි service එක interactive වෙන්නේ නැහැ. service එක එතකොට I mean feedbacks අපිට ගන්න බැරි වෙනවා service එකේ. ඒ කියන්නේ client service එක separate කරොත් එහෙම. ඒ කියන්නේ service එකක් separate කරන්න බෑ. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම now you if you are to get the doctor service, either you have to go to the doctor physically or you have to meet the doctor virtually. You get the babysitting service. I mean, you can't keep the baby at your home and get the babysitting service. No, you have to take the baby to your baby to the place where they have the daycare center. So like that, hospital service, healthcare service, then hospitality service, right? Tourism. ඒ එක service එකක්වත් අපිට separate කරන්න බෑ. මිනිසුන්ගෙන් අයින් කරලා ඉවරලා people component එක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් zero කරලා we can't do it. So some might argue telecommunication service. Now it is like this. So though you don't see the physical person along with the service delivery, the back end, right? There are, and also in a service delivery in that nature, remember, you have, I mean, the system is work as the inseparable person. System itself works as the inseparable person. So you got to identify that. System itself works as the inseparable person. So, I mean, people involvement is crucial in service delivery. So these are the 7 elements what we identified under marketing mix in brand management. So product is one thing, price is another thing, promotion is another thing. Promotion means the communication, place means the location, physical evidence means the physically available clues for customer to take final decision. Process means step-by-step approach where customer is taking when it comes for service consumption. And the people component is mainly the people, those who are interacting with the final customer in service delivery especially. So when you're looking at a brand management, you got to focus on 7 these elements, right? Immaterial to the nature of the business that you're into. ඉතින් මෙන්න මේ හත තමයි අපි කියන්නේ marketing mix elements ටික කියලා. So let's move forward. මෙතන තියෙනවා මේ එක එක දේවල් වල ඒකේ තියෙන definition එක. product එකක් කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Product is anything. They define it as anything. Product they define as anything. It can be either tangible or it can be an intangible. Tangible වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, intangible වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. That can satisfy the consumer need. Anything which can satisfy the consumer need, we can identify it as a product. Product is manufactured by the manufacturer, no? The companies, no? To fulfill what? To fulfill the customer need, product is manufactured. Product is manufactured by the by companies to fulfill the customer's expectation, customer's need. So that we need to identify. දැන් මේ අපි ගත්තොත් අපි කන බත් එක කියලා කියන්නේ product එකක්. Bread is a product. Pizza is a product. Product to fulfill what? The need of hunger, need of lifestyle. Now the pizza people won't eat only for hunger. No? Just as a fashionable food, they go and eat pizza. They casually said, okay, let's go and have a pizza. Not because they're hungry, but just to hang around with their peers, they are having a pizza. So the product. Then the next component is price, what we were talking about. Price, remember, price is from the company's point of view, price we considered as the cost incurred in manufacturing the product and the selling price, the product what we offer to the market, the price what we offer to the market. From the company's point of view, this price is the element that brings revenue to the organization. From the company's point of view, this element brings the revenue to the organization. But from the consumer's point of view, what we need to remember, it is a cost for them. It is a cost for them. So if that is the case, if we talk about price, we need to make sure for us it's a price and a tool which generate revenue, but for consumer, it is the cost. They have to pocket out. They have to spend money to buy our brand. They have to spend their money to buy our product. So for them, it is a cost. So because of that, we are not in a position to manage the price the way we can, way we want. Though it is incurring, bring revenue and profit, do you think that we can manage the price the way we want? No, because from the consumer's angle, it is different. It is a cost for them. So when you talk about pricing in marketing management and the brand management, you talk about few elements like different pricing strategies. We talk about cost components. We talk about the break-even calculations. We talk about the different ratios, different pricing methods. We talk about cost plus, target return, market-based pricing, psychological pricing, like the different pricing strategies are there. So those we will be discussing separately. So this is the other component. So the third component we identified as the promotion. As we were talking about, we identified this as the promotion. Promotion means what? Promotion means the communication between the target market and the target audience and the company. Communication between the company and their target market and the target audience. So how a company communicate with the target market and the target audience, discuss under the promotion and the promotion strategies. Now, here when it comes for promotion, we have a new component called digital communication. Now, all the online and the social media and other sort of communications, we identified as the digital marketing communication approach. And before digital comes into the picture, we had something called conventional marketing communication models, such as TV advertisements, radio commercials, press advertisements, hoardings, billboards, um, point of purchase materials, leaflets, danglers. So road shows, PR campaigns, and all these things, exhibitions maybe, certain events maybe, all these things we use to communicate with our target market and the target audience to promote our product, to provide a message about our product. So under promotion, we talk about that communication aspect, the communication between the company and your target market and the target audience. So that is the promotion. So to do promotion, we have separate strategies. And the other element is the place, what we were talking about. The place. Place means the location what we arrange for customer to come and access. Place is the location what we manage for customer to come and access your product or the service. Your place in modern context, remember, it is not limited to the physical location. Now the place we can identify it as even the space. In the sense, now we have the virtual locations like online market, same as the physical locations like modern trade, supermarket, meta market, hypermarket, and all these physical locations we see, and even a wayside retail shop, the small general trade shop, we can identify it as the physical locations. But in modern context, with the introduction of the internet, online trading, we see the market space as another place for company to display their products and services. You look at all the online, Amazon, maybe Alibaba, maybe Kapruka, maybe in Sri Lankan context, right? All these products are displaying their, products online. So those are virtual places, and those we identified as market space. Okay, now these are the four major elements, initial four major elements what we identified in the marketing mix as we discussed previously, right? Get the idea. Okay, and we were talking about the people those who are involving in delivering the service to the target market is crucial, because people are inseparable in service delivery. You can't what you call separate the service from the service manufacturer and the service provider. Either they have to be there physically or virtually. ඒක තමයි අපි කිව්වේ. Right? So process, step by step approach up until consumer consumes the product. Physical evidence defined as the physically available evidences. Showroom displays maybe, front office displays maybe, your brochures maybe, your materials maybe, your online website maybe. All these things are physically available evidences for customer to give the confirmation to consume your product or service. In a service, you don't have anything tangible to show. In a service manufacturing industry or service industry, you don't have anything tangible for you to show it to the customer. So customer is taking the decision based on whatever the available clues of your service delivery. If it is the very first time you're serving the client. Now, let's say if the client comes to a beautician, as an example, if a client comes to a beautician, and if the the place of that beautician is not up and give me 1 minute, guys. sorry guys, service providers, the vegetable sellers, right? Right. So the physical evidence we identified as the things which is so important to promote a service. Then අපි හැමතිස්සෙම what we need to look at, I mean, from our point of view, we have to see certain things, and at the same time, we have to look at from the customer point of view. So when you look at these 7 elements, when you look at these 7 elements, right? For us, it's a product. From the company's point of view, it is a product. But from a customer's point of view, that product will bring, their satisfaction. It's a value for them. So customer satisfied value for them. So we need to look always when you are designing the marketing mix elements, you have to focus always from the customer's point of view to get the exact idea and to design the strategy properly. Otherwise, you think from internal perspectives, you think only from the company's angle, you will not be able to design your strategies effectively. So you need to make sure that. That's why I said, okay, initially, from a company's point of view, it's price. But from the customer's point of view, it's a cost. It's a cost. So the promotion from our company's point of view, it's promotion. But from the customer's point of view, it's a communication because they don't know, the things called promotion. For them, it's just a communication. Advertisement is communicating with them, right? So billboard is communicating with them. From their point of view, it's a communication. So like that. So we need to identify, right? We need to identify these things from the company's point of view as well as the customer's point of view to get the better results. නැත්තම් මොකද වෙන්නේ අපි මේ ටික කරගෙන යනවා අපි අපේ පැත්තෙන් විතරක් හිතලා මේ ටික කරන්න ගියාම අන්තිමටම මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ customer ගේ පැත්තෙන් rejections එනවා. Okay, so let's move on. Dulaj, are you clear? Samadhi, are you clear? Dulaj, clear, right?
Clear, sir.
Okay. So let's move on with all these aspects one by one. Let's try to make the product element complete today, right? So when you look at දැන් අපි initially idea එකක් අරගත්ත marketing mix කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක. දැන් අපි බලන්නේ මේ marketing mix එකේ තියෙන individual components. අපි කොහොමද utilize කරන්න කියන එක one by one. ඒ කියන්නේ product එක, price එක. We are mainly talking about the initial 4 ingredients, initial 4 P's, so-called product, price, and the place and the promotion. So those are the main elements we will be discussing. So let's look at product. Let's look at product. Now here, when it comes for product, guys, actually products we can see in 3 forms. Certain products are there purely tangible. Certain products are, this is the entire continuum. This is the entire continuum. Now, this is one end and this is another end, right? And product we can see as purely a tangible form. You go and buy a pen. You go and buy maybe a shirt. You go and buy a cake of soap. You go and buy a milk powder. Completely tangible form. And you don't get any service component connected with that product. You don't get any service component connected with that product. So those type of products we identified as purely tangible products. Purely tangible products. And on the other hand, we have purely intangible where you don't get anything. You don't get anything to your ownership, any tangible thing to your ownership once you consume the service, once you consume that product. So those are identified as intangible services. Now, let's say as example, you go to a barber, you go to a beautician, you go to a beauty therapist, you go to a physiotherapist, you go to a consultant, you go to whoever who is providing services where you do not get anything, an airline service as an example, and transportation logistics service. You take an Uber, right? And that doesn't mean that you can own something from Uber. You just get the transportation service and you get down, right? You get airline service and you get down from the destination and go. You don't take anything from airline. So intangible. So I mean, barber service. I mean, you can touch the barber. It's a different concern, but the service is intangible. Service is intangible. So nothing you gain, the telecommunication service, you might say the SIM card, right? So the small device, the SIM card. I mean, compared to the entire service component, that is negligible. It is connectivity, what they bring with that. So the services, telecommunication services. Banking, to a certain extent, you have the little tangible things like the ATM cards where you continuously use, then you have bank passbook, the books, the saving books or whatever, saving documents, maybe. You may have little tangible component in it, but majorly it also intangible. So the services like banking, restaurants, and all these things comes here. Now, l- I mean, insurance even, you get a majorly it is intangible. Majorly insurance, it is majorly intangible, but little tangible things added into it. පොඩි tangible දේවල් ටිකුත් ඒකට add කරලා තියෙනවා. Right? Little tangible thing added into it. අපි banking ගත්තොත් ඒ වගේ, insurance ගත්තොත් ඒ වගේ, education ගත්තොත් ඒ වගේ, majorly intangible, right? But little tangible things included in it, right? Then there are certain tangible products. There are certain tangible products where you have majorly tangible, but little intangible also added to that. Little intangible also added to that. Majorly tangible, and they have added little intangible. TV, you buy a TV, you buy a refrigerator, washing machine, right? Majorly the tangible service, tangible product. But you get warranties, guarantees, after sale services, deliveries, repair services. So those are intangible services. So in you buy a computer, buy with warranty, warranties and guarantees and all these things, the technical supports are services. But majorly you are using the tangible product. Majorly you are investing on the tangible product. So when you look at continuum, you can identify all these things in there. Clear? So මේ වගේ products තමයි අපිට තියෙන්නේ අපේ range එකේම. So we got to identify what type of a product we are selling, what type of a product we are buying. I mean, do our brand focus on tangible perspectives? Do our brand focus on intangible perspectives? Do our brand focus combination of this? If it is a combination of this, what are the major part of our brand? It is a tangible or the intangible? What are the major part of our brand, whether it is intangible or tangible? You got to have an idea on it. Then only you can design strategies to suit the brand development. We were talking about this when it comes for the 3 levels of brand, and when you compare your brand along with the product, right? We were talking about this model. Your product you categorize in 3 levels: core product, actual product, and the augmented product, right? So these 3 levels we identified. If you can recall, first few classes we identified. Brand versus product, the two circles like this, right? So ඒකත් බලන්න so that you can get an idea about how these two are connected. So product එකක් අපි ගත්තාම right product එකක් අපි ගත්තාම we have three layers. The innermost layer මෙන්න මෙතන මේ layer එක අපි identify කරගන්නවා the real purpose behind the product, the core purpose behind the product, right? මේක තමයි why we are consuming the product කියන එක තමයි මෙතන අපි කතා කරන්නේ. The real purpose behind the product, core purpose behind the product. If it is a vehicle, we talk about the transportation, right? If it is a hospital, we talk about the health and healthcare or health and wellness, right? If it is a hotel, we talk about leisure and pleasure. So the core benefit you got to identify. You got to identify. මොකද්ද මේ product එකෙන් deliver කරන main benefit එක. You can't ignore that and design the brand. Remember, core benefit එක අමතක කරලා අපි brand එක හදන්න ගියොත් so you will be in a deep trouble. You got to identify that. Then what do you do? Once you identify the core benefit, you convert the core benefit into a marketable position by adding a brand name, by creating a product with a quality, by adding some features, bringing some designs and packaging and all these things, combining all these elements, we convert that core product expectations or the core benefit into a marketable position by converting it to an actual product, So that is the second layer of the entire product. And the third most layer we identified as the augmented product layer. Augmented product layer is talking mainly about the intangible value delivery. So if you're delivering a product, now, as I said, the intangible value delivery is the warranties, the guarantees, after sales services, the brand personality kind of things, maybe to a certain extent, brand culture, brand attitude, and all these things in the brand management we were talking about. So those things are used to augment the product, go into a intangible expansion of a product, intangible value addition of a product. You buy a very basic car, right? Or you buy something without warranty. I mean, you don't have any augmented values in it. You buy a laptop, the used laptop, and they said no warranty, no guarantee, no after sales service, nothing. So no augmentation is there. And let's say you buy a laptop from the proper service provider with the warranties, guarantees, after sales service, technical support. So which means what? They are augmenting their values that are delivered with the product. Augmentation in the sense mainly you talk about the intangible value additions. And remember, when you look at the augmentation, guys, up to this point, up to actual product layer, anyone can duplicate your product. Then I might have told you all, okay, if I have a manufacturing plant to manufacture automobile, I can duplicate the BMW, Mercedes-Benz and all these things, tangible ones. If you can remember what Iranian car designer, the Moradi, did for Lamborghini Murcielago. He duplicated the Lamborghini Murcielago as it is with the same features and the same design and same benefits. Which means the actual product he can duplicate. But it is not, I mean, since it is not Lamborghini, it is not Murcielago. So it is a different name. So the augmentation comes along with the intangible value additions. You can't duplicate the intangible value additions. Something where you cannot touch and feel, you can't duplicate. Now let's say as example, the brand personality you bring. And someone is using Roger Federer. Someone is using Ronaldo, and Roger Federer and Ronaldo are completely two different personalities. So Roger Federer cannot be Ronaldo, neither Ronaldo can be Roger Federer. No, both is not possible, which means intangible value additions to the product cannot be duplicated by any means. You cannot duplicate. So because of that, product augmentation will support for unique differentiation also. Right? Product augmentation will support for unique differentiation also of your brand. So මේ විදියට තමයි අපි levels 3ක් product එකේ identify කරගන්නවා, and these 3 levels we identified even as how we add values to differentiate our product from the competition available in the market. Right. Let's move on with this. This is one theory. This can be questioned. And the other one, when you look at this theory is talking about the entire product classification what we see in the industry. Now here we talk about, okay, product we identified it can be in two forms. One is the tangible form and the other one is the intangible form. Yes, the third in between case, the tangible and intangible combination version. When you classify all these products, we identify product by looking at the two type of markets we are catering. We are catering it to the consumer market. We are catering into the business market, also called industrial market. And we are catering products into a consumer market. And if you can remember the consumer buying behavior process, you can connect the dots here. When we connect the products here to the business market, also called industrial market, so you can bring your memories of business buying behavior. You identify these two different markets. So consumer market and the business market. So the product that goes to consumer market, we identified as the consumer product. Product that goes to business market, we identified either B2B products or the industrial products. Product that goes to consumer market is the consumer product. Product that goes to business market or the industrial market, we identified as the industrial products. So coming into the consumer product, we categorize consumer products by looking at durability and by looking at the shopping effort and the involvement. So by looking at the durability, we can identify two types. One is durable product and the other one is non-durable product. Durable product means usually the product that runs over 1 year period in consumer context. Non-durable products are less than that. Now that doesn't mean a broom or a vehicle broom or a toilet brush what you are using in a place, though it is used for more than 1 year, that doesn't consider as durable products. The durable products in the consumer context, we can identify it as the electrical fittings. We can identify it as the consumer electronic items like the washing machines, refrigerators, TVs, and all these things. We can identify furniture. We can identify things like that in consumer context as the durable products. The non-durable products, what you buy on daily basis, your food items, maybe your, whatever the things you buy on daily basis, we can identify it as the non-durable daily or weekly or monthly kind of non-durable products. So consumer products, we categorize again into two by looking at the durability basis, and that we identified as durable products and the non-durable products. Then we are coming into the shopping experience, shopping effort. Now, if you can remember the consumer buying behavior process, the 5-step process, if I recall the entire process, the first step is problem recognition or the need recognition. Then the second step of the same process is what? Search information. Third step, evaluation of alternatives. Fourth step, purchase decision. Fifth step, post-purchase evaluation. So when you look at those 5 steps in consumer buying process, it's a psychological process. And based on that, the effort what you give, along with the process and the effort what you give, we identified 4 type of products under consumer category. One is the consumer convenient goods where you buy on daily basis. You don't have to put much effort, and the consumer buying behavior process very quick. You just go and buy the product. You don't involve much and you have experience with the product and you know from where to buy, what to buy, how to buy, what quantity to buy, everything. You have an idea and you are happy with the product, what you know, what you purchase. And staple goods, the fast moving consumer goods, I mean your food items and all these things we can identify it as the consumer convenient goods where you buy on daily basis. The consumer buying process is very comfortable there, very quick. The buying process you can identify it there, and repeat purchases are significant there in the consumer convenient goods category. And another product category we identified as the shopping product. Shopping products are a bit different compared to the convenient goods. Why we call it? Because you put bit of a additional effort in selecting the product. Let's say you want to buy a pair of shoes. Let's say you want to buy a watch. Let's say you want to buy Sorry, I got stuck. මම කියාගෙන ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා මම stuck වෙලා. I'm really sorry. Senal can hear now, ne? Nulaj can hear now, ne?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
විනාඩි 5ක් විතර මම හිර වෙලා මම තනියෙන් කියවලා දෙයි. Wait, I will upload the presentation. Okay, sorry. Now here we were talking about this one, right? So make it mama kipiak. I think we have missed couple of points. So let me mama meterin tamai shop me මේ area එකෙන් තමයි මට miss උනේ. මෙතන මේ point එකේ ඉඳලා තමයි මට miss උනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මාව disconnect උනේ. So I will redo this area, right? Now as we were talking about, right, as we were talking about, we know we can categorize the consumer product by looking at the effort and the involvement we take in purchasing. Now, if you all can remember this consumer buying process, the 5-step buying process: need recognition, search information, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, post-purchase evaluation. So those 5-step consumer buying process, which is a psychological process, is basically talk about your effort and the involvement in purchasing these type of products. So by looking at the effort and the involvement in your purchasing, we categorize the consumer product into 4 areas. One is the consumer convenience good, convenience products. The convenience products, look at the name itself, it says very convenient. Convenient of what? Convenient of your effort and the involvement, your time convenient, everything is there. So, which means what? The entire buying process is very convenient. So those 5-step buying process very convenient. You talk about buying a milk powder, you talk about buying a toothpaste, you talk about buying a cake of soap, you talk about buying a bread, you talk about buying a staple goods where you buy on daily basis. Those are very convenient, right? It doesn't take much time for you to select the product unless you purchase at the very first time. So when it comes for repeat purchase, you know what to buy, how many to buy, from where to buy, and all these things. You have an idea. So you just go and purchase the product without any very less effort. So those type of products we identified as consumer convenient goods, staple goods, especially coming under this one. The second type of consumer goods what we categorize by looking at the involvement and the effort is the shopping products. Now, by looking at the shopping products along with your psychological process of buying behavior, that 5-step process what we were talking about, problem recognition, search information, evaluation of alternatives, purchase decision, and the post-purchase evaluation. So those steps are bit of a time consuming, bit of a involvement you need to give compared to the consumer convenient good. Now, shopping goods, let's say as an example, you want to buy a pair of shoes. You want to buy a pair of spectacles. You want to buy a perfume. You want to buy a shirt. You want to buy a watch. You want to buy, let's say, some kind of a thing where you need a little bit of involvement in selecting. So those type of products we identified as shopping goods. Sometimes to buy these shopping goods, you might visit multiple locations. You might search from multiple places, but finally sometimes you might come back to the very first location and purchase the product. So the things are like that in this type of nature of the product. So those products we identified as shopping goods where your involvement is also comparatively high and also effort is comparatively high compared to the convenience goods. Then we are coming into the specialty goods. Specialty goods. Specialty goods are the goods you purchase on the special purpose, maybe for special occasion, maybe for special need. Now let's say you're a sports personality. So it is not just a shopping good. You're buying a spikes. If you are an athlete, you're buying a spikes, running shoes, right? Spikes, shoes to participate for the competition. It's a specialty product you buy and your involvement is bit high. Your effort is bit high in selecting. Sometimes you might look at the technical aspects of those spikes, right? How comfortable the pair of spikes for you, and what is the weight and even the design to a certain extent you might look at, because you are wearing that spike only for the special event, maybe for the athletic event. So those are specialty goods. Or else, let's say as example, the wedding dress, the bridal dress, the special product. You don't wear the bridal dress every day. It's a specialty products you are talking about. So your involvement is very high. And sometimes you might get feedbacks from many sources. You might get consultancy from many sources in selecting those products. So those products we identified as specialty goods. When you're buying a swimming dress, you don't wear the swimming dress for everywhere, right? So those are for swimming purpose. And party dress, party purpose. So let's say the medical equipment, the consumer medical equipments like the glucometer, pressure meter kind of a thing, right? And most of the time, you and I might not buy the glucometer or the pressure meter, but the person who is having a pressure and the sugar level might purchase because they are buying for special purpose to check on daily basis, like that, in that nature. So specialty products, once again, your involvement compared to those specialty products are high. Your effort is also, the effort of buying the product is very much high. Then the other one we identified as unsold goods. Unsold goods. These goods you do not think of buying, but if someone comes and push you to buy, if someone comes and asks you to buy, if someone comes and persuade you to buy, motivate you to buy, then you might buy. Sometimes even you purchase these products, you might not even use it. So those type of products we identified as unsold goods. Maybe as an example, the club memberships, right? You buy the club membership for the entire year, but sometimes for the whole year, you might visit only once. But you keep the membership. Magazine memberships. Sometimes the magazine might come by post. You don't even read those magazines, the magazine memberships. And to a certain extent, in general context, life insurance. In Sri Lankan context, we can say life insurance. We don't, unless it's a special condition, environmental conditions like COVID, we identified the demand for life insurances were increasing. So it became kind of a pull product by that time. But in general context, the people do not bother about the life insurance. They might just do without a life insurance. They know they can live without a life insurance. So it's unsold goods are the goods what we identified in that nature. The goods the people do not think of buying. Those are not pulled products, especially. Those are not pulled by the consumers, and those are the products where we need to give a extensive push to convert the customer to purchase. So like that, we identified them as unsold goods. So these are the consumer products categories what we identified under the two major variables, durability based on the durability as well as the based on the shopping effort and the involvement. Then we are moving into the industrial product. Industrial products we identified as B2B products. Industrial products we identified as B2B products. So what do you mean by the industrial products or the B2B products? The products purchased by companies for either for their consumption or for their remanufacturing purpose. Products or service purchased by companies we identified as industrial products, either to manufacture the product, another product, for which means the remanufacturing purpose, or to consume within the organization to arrange, to facilitate the entire operation. So any of these products we identified as industrial products. So one of the major industrial products we identified, we can see materials and parts. Now, materials are the raw materials. If we take as an example, what we use to manufacture something. So in garment industry, the garment manufacturer, the raw material is fabric. The fabric manufacturer, the raw material is yarn. Yarn manufacturer, the raw material may be cotton wool. So like that, different industries, you have different type of raw material. Some are manufactured raw material, some are natural raw material. As an example, canned fish manufacturing company. The canned fish manufacturing company. The tinned fish manufacturing products. The fish is a natural raw material, but the canned component is the manufactured raw material. You put both together and design the product. And cotton is a natural raw material in the garment manufacturing industry, the yarn manufacturing industry. But yarn is a natural manufactured raw material for the fabric manufacturing industry. So like that, we identify natural raw material as well as the manufactured raw material. As an example, bottled water manufacturing industry, the mineral water manufacturing industry. Water is a natural raw material, but bottle is a manufactured raw material. We just bring these two together and we talk about finished products. So raw materials and the parts. The parts may be, let's say as an example, parts you use on machineries. Spare parts maybe. So those are identified as industrial products. The second one, the capital items. Capital items are the items we considered as the items where we use for more than one financial year. Buildings, vehicles, machineries, you name, and all these things we identified as capital items where we depreciate from book values over more than one financial year, right? So those we identified as capital. Lands, buildings, vehicles, machineries, and all these things we can come in, we can consider under that. So that also industrial product. And the other one, the supplies and the components, we can say as an example. Let's say you're having a photocopy machine. You need toner cartridges to use. You are having an injection molding machine. So you need lubricants to run those machines, supplies and the components. You need small gadgets to run these machines. So supplies and components, then again, the industrial raw material, industrial products category. And the other one, business related services. Leasing service, you can take advertising services, you can take the business consultancy services, you can take the training and development services, you can take. So all these things are industrial type service what we identified. So under product classification, the industrial products we can identify in few different terms like the material parts as we discussed, and the capital items, the capital equipments, and the supplies and the components, as well as the business related services. So that is how the entire product is classified by looking at the two significant markets, namely consumer market and the business market. So the consumer market, consumer product, business market, industrial products. So that is what the classification works. That is how the classification works. Clear? Any question? Any question? මොනවාරි question එකක් තියෙනවද?
Clear, sir.
Cool. So it's 10:30. Shall we take a quick break? Because we can finish this slide today. We'll take a quick break for about 10-15 minutes and start again. Or else shall we continue? What do you think? We can even continue, right? Okay, let's continue since we were taking a small break during this thing. Mama stuck with වෙලාවේ පොඩි break එකක් ආවනේ. So let's continue with this. Right. So when it comes for marketing mix on 4 different type of consumer goods, what we identified: convenience, shopping, specialty, and unsold. You can see in this table how manufacturer should focus, or from the marketer's point of view, how their consideration should go on consumer buying behavior along with the marketing mix decisions, the product, location management, communication, and pricing and all these things you got to look at. So in this table, when you look at the convenient goods, let's look at the convenient goods, then you can read the rest, you can read and understand. So customer buying behavior, we were talking about this. customer buying behavior of a consumer good is very frequent. Purchase little with little effort. The planning, right? I mean, no major planning and comparisons, right? Customer involvement is very less. And these products we see at low price. You might not, I might not say low price does not means cheap, but the right affordable price. That is why they just go and buy. Sometimes if one product is not there, let's say you prefer Signal toothpaste, that is not available. So you might shift the brand to Klogart smaller toothpaste. So like that. So you might shift even, I mean, even waste you can bear. Then the distribution. Now, to buy these products, people won't spend much time. So manufacturer need to distribute everywhere and make it available every possible locations. So these products are seeing intensive distribution to arrange the convenient. And the promotion also mass promotions like TV advertisements, radio, press and billboards and all these things we identified as the mass distribution. So what we were talking about, we identified the staple goods, the goods that you buy on daily basis. And here magazine is different. Here, of course, impulse purchase goods. Now, let's say you go to supermarket. Okay, and you see, I mean, a magazine, and without thinking much, you buy. This is not a membership-based magazine, remember, right? These are not membership-based magazines. Now you go to supermarket and you see a cashier counter, you see the magazine, and last month LMD you see, and you just think of buying, paying for about a couple of hundreds. So these are impulse purchase goods. Impulse, we call it impulse purchase goods, right? Purchase based on impulse. So those are the products that are kept near cashier counters. Impulse purchase goods. දැක්ක ගමන් හිතිලා අරගන්න products. Right? Now the Kinder Joys, small chocolates, the chewing gums, sometimes batteries, the small batteries, you know, those type of products we see that are kept under, kept closer to the cashier counters, where sometimes the cashiers itself says මේකත් අරගන්න, right? Kind of a thing. So it brings kind of an impulse purchase. So that is why we identified as the convenient goods under this category. But magazine membership comes under these type of things. Okay, these type of things. Okay, so and just read, then you can get an idea about the overall perspectives here, what we were talking about anyway. And now we are coming into another model, and this can be tested at the exam. And when you are looking at, I mean, when you are taking an individual product decision in developing individual product decisions, right, as the brand owner, as the manufacturer, as the brand manufacturer, you got to talk about the product attributes. You got to talk about the features and the benefits of the product attributes. Then I mean, whatever the design, color you can see here, what are the features and the attributes and the benefits, what you can deliver. Let's say, I mean, if it is a tangible product like car, I mean, whether it is a auto or a manual or with AC, without AC, power shutters, full option, kind of those are features and the designs. So you got to focus on the product attributes to meet the consumer's core needs and the core expectations, what we were talking about. And then you got to focus on the branding and the other communication things, right? So you need to have proper name. You need to have proper sign, symbol to give unique identification to the product. If that is not there, then it will be a concern. Then you're talking about the packaging. Right? Packaging does not, I mean, talk only about the physical packaging where you wrap, cover your product. No, I mean, in that case, let's say, what can we talk about packaging in automobile, car, right? So it's it doesn't come in a box, right? So packaging does not mean only the wrapper, right? But for smaller products, yes, the packaging may be with a wrapper or the container. Maybe let's say you buy, I mean, personal care products like the body cream and all these things. The packaging is a container. Container itself is the packaging, right? So those things you got to think of. Now, if it is a service delivery, let's say the hospital service, your entire hospital is the packaging. Your entire physical evidence is the packaging. Your physically available evidence we can consider as your packaging of the entire service delivery. Then you talk about the labeling, labels, right? Which provide some information related to the product and the description related to the product and services what you promote. So let's say you enter to a hospital. Huge notice board is there to give you a direction, give you directions. Okay, first floor OPD, second floor consultancy, ground floor registration, kind of that. Those are labeling in a service component. Then you talk about the product after sales services and the supports when consuming. So when you're design, this is very basic approach, right? When you're design a particular product, you got to focus on these areas and develop. Otherwise, what will happen? Right, you will just develop a product. Sometimes you might not bother about branding. You might not bother about your packaging. So let's say in our case, okay, we very recently we launched a foundation certificate in marketing program for after O-level students, right? So that program, when you really look at, I mean, the product attributes are the program contents. The FCM Foundation Certificate in Marketing is the brand. Packaging means what? Packaging means all the things that are included, brochure, I mean, institute location and everything connected the packaging. Labeling means what? The directions what we give to complete and whatever the other services. So this is not only for a tangible product, guys, remember. This even connected with the intangible services. This even connected with the intangible services. So remember these 5 steps where we need to focus on the product development part. And now we are coming into the brand. I'm not wasting much time on this because we did this part at the beginning. Yes, as per American Marketing Association definition, brand we define like this. Brand is a name, brand is a term, it's a symbol, sign, design, or combination of these elements. For what? We are using it for the identification purpose of the product or the service. For manufacturers or as well as the consumer, it gives some kind of an identity to recognize the product. And also at the same time, it helps to differentiate company product, company brand from the competitors available in the market. So brand, I mean, as per the American Marketing Association definition, which you can see here, it gives some kind of identity to your product and the services, and also at the same time it gives it used as a differentiation tool to differentiate among the competition available in the market. So brand equity means the real value of the brand. Real value of the brand, and the real value of the brand in the sense how consumer respond to the brand when they really talk about the brand. So the real value in the sense the real financial value of the brand. It is not the price of the product, my dear friends, remember. It is mainly the finance. It can consider about financial value of the whole brand. Now, it can be the market capitalization of the whole brand, we can say, as the brand equity. So, but the brand equity in a mindset of a consumer, brand equity in a mindset of a consumer means what? When you say a particular brand, how the consumer will recall and respond to the brand, and that we identified as the brand equity in the mindset of the consumer. Because if you win a higher equity in the mindset of the consumer, it is very much easy for you all to grow your brand in the marketplace. Because there's a famous saying, before you physically place your brand in the marketplace, you have to place the brand in the mind place. So mind එකේ brand එක නැත්තම් market එකේ කොච්චර brand එක තිබ්බත් වැඩ නැහැ. So the equity is built along with that as well. That as well. Where let's say, you go to the supermarket and you come across an unknown brand. So you might think whether to buy or not. But let's say as an example, you come across a brand which is you are searching for, which is very familiar with, then you will not bother in purchasing the brand. So something like that, the brand equity in individual customer context and brand equity in a major context. Right. So let's move on. Let's move on with this. And we were talking about service marketing, and we said, okay, there are two major avenues in products, if you can remember this, right? Tangible and intangible. Now I'm going to take you through the intangible component and why we call it an intangible, and what are the strategic areas we need to look at when we are managing this intangible products, so-called service. අපි service එකක් manage කරනකොට මොනවද කරන්න කියලා බලන්න තමයි අපි මෙන්න මේ area එක කතා කරන්නේ දැන්. Now you need to identify first a service. First you got to identify a service, characteristics of a service. When you can identify the characteristics of service, you can easily design the strategy. But if you fail to identify the characteristics, you will fail to design your strategies for a service related product. Now, one major thing is services are intangible. Services are intangible, where you cannot touch and feel, you can't see, you can't taste, you can't feel it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it, because it is intangible. Because it is intangible. So it doesn't connected with most of the sensory organs, right? So intangible products. So if that is the case, customer cannot see the brand or the product before they consume. Customer cannot feel the brand or the product before they consume. If so, what should be our strategies? You got to think of. Intangibility is one major characteristic in a service related brands or the products. Then the other one, inseparability. Inseparability. Services cannot separate from service provider and the service consumer. Services are manufactured and consumed at the same time. Services are manufactured and consumed at the same time. So you can't separate the service provider from the service consumer. So these two parties, service provider and the service consumer, either should be at the same location physically or should be connected in the same communication platform virtually to deliver the service. If not, there will not be a service delivery. So that is why the inseparability need to be understood in the service industry. So which means what, if you separate, service manufacturer will not be able to connect the service consumer and vice versa. So inseparability is one of the other parameter or characteristics we identified in service related business. So then we talk about variability. Variability means what? Variability means you talk about, manufacturing the product. When it comes for tangible product, you can manufacture the product again and again and again, even million times. You can manufacture the product again and again and again, even million times without a single differentiation. variability in a service. Let's say you go to the same doctor for the same illness, the service delivery will be different from the previous occasion. So doctor might talk in a different way, doctor might dress in a different way, the location might be different, and the way the doctor prescribed might be different, but the illness may be the same. So variability when it comes for a service delivery is very high. And the services, because of this, services are identified as heterogeneity nature. Service delivery is identified as heterogeneity nature. So, I mean, highly variable compared to the tangible product delivery. And tangible products are more towards the homogeneity nature, where we see the same products manufactured again and again over many times, even million times. You can manufacture the products again and again without a single difference between the products. And the other one, the perishability. Services cannot store for future consumption. Perishable. Once you consume, right, it goes. I mean, you can't keep it for future consumptions. You can't keep it for future consumption. The perishability is there. So, but a product you can store in a refrigerator, food item you can store in a refrigerator and use. The garment you buy, you can use for future purpose, but not a service. Services are inseparable. Services are intangible, services are with the variable nature, and services are perishable nature. So those are the four major characteristics what we identified in a service related business. And these are the things you got to focus in service related strategy development. Service related strategy development. These are the things you got to focus on. Sorry, there was a call. Right. So make a may areas sticker. Now these are the areas where we were focusing in the service strategy development. ඉතින් මේක මතක තියාගන්න. මොකද service එකක් manage කරනවා නම් these areas are important. And now we are coming into the, I mean, further we'll be developing the service related firm strategy development area. Now here, remember when it comes from, I mean, before I take this, I will look into this. There are, I mean, when you are talking about the service related product development or service oriented business, there are three major strategies. Okay, let me repeat it again. When you look at the service related business, there are three major strategies you got to focus in your approach. So when you look at this service related business, there are three parties are connected in the delivery. Your company is connected with your employees, your company is connected with the external customer, and also your customers are connected with the internal employees. So by looking at these three parties, give me 1 minute. So, sorry. So when you look at the service related business, there are three major areas you got to focus on. One is your company and your employees and your customers, because we identify the nature of a service, the key characteristics of a service. So if these are the natures or the key characteristics of a service, so you got to focus on these three areas in developing the strategy. So one major strategy we identify here, is the internal marketing strategy. And if you can remember, we said service oriented businesses are inseparable, which means service provider and a service consumer should be connected to each other in the service delivery. So who is delivering the service? Your employees. Your employees. So if your employees are delivering the service, you got to practice strong internal marketing strategy to manage those employees to get the maximum out of their effort. So internal marketing we identified as one strategy that you got to focus in the service oriented business. The next one we identified as the external marketing, where your company directly communicate with your external customer, where your company directly communicate with your external customer. So company is communicating with your external customer through the external marketing activities, maybe digital marketing activities, maybe conventional marketing activities like advertising, sales promotions, personal sellings, event and experience, exhibitions, road shows, CSR, PR campaigns, and all these things, what we use to communicate with our target market and the target audience by practicing the external marketing strategies. So if you're in the service related business, you also got to focus on the external marketing strategies, same as the internal marketing strategies, what you implement with your employees. And as you know, the services are inseparable, and you got to focus mainly on the inseparability component. And who is connected with your customers? Your employees. So your employees are connected with your customers, which means your employees are interacting with your target market and the target audience, so-called your customers and the consumers. So if that is the case, you have to practice interactive marketing strategy to manage the communication and the interactivity between the employees and your target market and the target audience, so-called the customers and the consumers. So these are the three major strategies what we identified in a service related business, where you being a marketing manager or a brand manager should focus in delivering. So internal marketing, where you focus, where you give your focus between the company and the employees. External marketing, company and the customers. And the interactive marketing, where you increase the interactivity between your employees and the external customers. So that should be there. So you can use the conventional marketing strategies, advertising, sales, promotion, direct, indirect, interactive marketing, direct, indirect marketing communication strategies, digital marketing communication strategies, social media, internal marketing communication tactics to manage all these three strategies, with the communication aspects. And the other, you can talk about, okay, internal marketing when you look at your employees, employee motivation, employee development, the career development, and all these things will help for employee development. So that will finally boils down for better satisfied employee who is having a better interactivity with your target market and the target audience, where you get a better return for your organization. So these three dimensions are crucial in service related business. So you got to focus on, we identify this as the service triangle as well.